Programs Outreach and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. And today for Maker Monday, we are going to do experiments with Peeps. Peeps are plenty this time of year, which is why I thought it would be a perfect time to do some experiments with these little marshmallow critters. Today it's going to be very important that you have an adult or an older sibling helping you because we are going to use the microwave for two of our experiments. We're going to look at what happens when you heat up Peeps and when you freeze Peeps. So for the heating up portion, this is the part where you're going to need an adult or an older sibling helping you out because we are going to use the microwave. So what you're going to want is a microwave safe bowl and one of your Peeps. So again, before you start this is going to be a really important observation experiment. You're going to want to take a look at the Peep, note its color, its shape, its size. You might want to hold up your fingers to see how tall it is, maybe hold them this way to see how long it is. You could even get a ruler out if you wanted to measure it, because the microwave is definitely going to change a lot of those properties. So you can also take a few minutes before you start this experiment to write down what you think is going to happen to the Peep after it gets put in the microwave. It's important to remember that everyone's microwave has a different power, so you want to make sure that you don't put it in for too long. We're going to start ours off at 30 seconds, but if you know that you have a higher power microwave, you might want to start it at less because it's going to be bad if you put it in for too long. All right, here it goes. We're going to start at 30 and start. Can't really see because our microwave has a bunch of crisscrosses on it. Oh, let's look inside already. Look at that! And that was after just 12 seconds. So after just 12 seconds, our Peep, let's get out an unmicrowave Peep. Our Peep went from looking like this to looking like this. So you can see that it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit flatter, it's not standing up as much, and then if you touch it, it feels different. So this feels a little bit more like marshmallows that you might get out of a bag. This feels more like it has a crust about it. You can feel all the sugars, and this is kind of softer, and as you can see, it's coming up on my finger a little bit goopier, whereas this one, when I touch it with my finger, nothing really comes up. So like I said, that was after just 12 seconds. We'll put it in again for a couple more to see if anything else happens. All right. Whoa! Look at that! That doesn't look anything like our starter Peep. Its eyes have disappeared. It's kind of just a blob. It's much more gushy when you put your finger in it. It's losing its shape entirely, much more mushy. So we still have 9 seconds on the microwave. So again, just a reminder that a full 30 seconds is probably too long for certain microwaves. So you want to make sure that you're watching it. Otherwise, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to blow up all over your microwave. Nobody's going to like to clean that up because, as you can see, it's very, very sticky. So we'll put it in for the last 9 seconds and see if anything happens. Now it looks like we just have a pile of marshmallow fluff. So a very different look from our starter Peep. You might be wondering what happens inside the microwave that makes the Peep go from looking like this to growing and growing and growing to end up looking like this. Peeps are marshmallows. Marshmallows are made up of tiny air bubbles that are surrounded by gelatin and a sugar syrup. So what happens inside the microwave is the heat from the microwave causes the water molecules inside the sugar syrup to vibrate and heat up. This creates steam that moves into the air pockets inside the Peep, which causes it to expand, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when you open the microwave, the steam is released, which causes the Peep to deflate and end up looking like this. Now that we've heated a Peep up, we're going to freeze a Peep. So again, you'll want to keep one as your control, which is going to be the one that you use to observe that no changes have happened to. And then another one you're going to put into a bowl, and we're going to put it inside the freezer. You can decide how long you want to put it in. We're going to put it in for about 5 minutes. So we're going to get our Peep out of the freezer. Here it is, and you'll want to have your control Peep with you. So the first thing you'll want to look at is the difference. So do those look that different to you? Not to me, at least not as dramatically as it was with the one in the microwave. So this is our control, and this is our frozen one. So you want to pick it up and kind of feel it, see if it feels any different, what the texture is like. You can compare between the two. So what I'm feeling is this one is obviously warm, but it's, a little easier to squish. This one's cold because it's been in the freezer, and you can still squish it, but it is a little bit more firm than this one is. But the surprising thing is that it's not frozen and hard like you might expect it to be, like an ice cube would be. So that's a really interesting observation. You might be asking yourself why the Peep that we put in the freezer didn't get super hard and frozen like water does when you put it into an ice cube tray and put that in the freezer. The answer is that Peeps have a very low moisture content. That means there's not a lot of water in them in the first place, so when you put them into the freezer, they get cold and they get a little firm, but there's not enough water in to make it frozen like when you put water into an ice cube tray. For our last experiment, we are going to make a Peeps type slime or dough using some Peeps. We're also going to be using vegetable oil or canola oil and cornstarch. So we're gonna start off with, you're gonna add 5 Peeps to your bowl. These Peeps are a little bit stale. The package has been open for a little while, so we're gonna see if it works with the stale Peeps. Part of doing experiments is always trying different things to see different results that you get. So if this doesn't work, we'll try some fresh Peeps and see what we get with that. So we have 5 Peeps in the bowl. Then we are going to add a tablespoon of the oil that you're using. Put that in there. And then we are going to go back to the microwave, and you're gonna put these in the microwave. The instructions say for 30 seconds, but as we discovered earlier, 30 seconds might be too long. So you'll wanna watch so that you can open it up if you notice anything about to explode. But we'll try 30 and see what happens. So I'm gonna watch very carefully to see what happens. It's my little peepees. Now they're starting to expand just at the end of 30 seconds. So we have our Peeps. They didn't expand as much as the other ones, as we noted. So after you take them out, you're going to add in, you're gonna see if they're gooey. They are. They're still a little hard because, like I said, they're kind of stale. But you're going to add in your cornstarch, and you're gonna add this in a tablespoon at a time. So I went to get another tablespoon measure because my other one had oil on it, and you don't want to put an oily or wet measure into the cornstarch. So this is a particularly big tablespoon, so I didn't do a full one. And then what you're going to do is you're going to mix it in to the Peeps. And once you mix all these ingredients together, you'll start to get a slime dough type consistency. And you'll want to keep kneading it together. It might still be hot from the microwave, so you'll want to be careful. And I'm noticing that this is a little bit firm, which I'm thinking is probably because these Peeps are a little bit stale to start with. So I think I'm gonna try, see how it's hard to pull apart. I think I'm gonna try another batch with some of the fresh Peeps to see what kind of consistency that gives. Ideally, we're trying to get a consistency that's a lot more like the slime that you're used to, which you can see that this is getting there. It is pulling apart, but it's starting to get really hard. Even though it's still warm, it's getting really, really tough, which I think might have something to do with the Peeps being stale. So let's try it one more time with fresh Peeps and see if that gives us a better result. Now, because these are fresh, 30 seconds might be too long and make them explode. So we're gonna wanna watch carefully like we've done before to make sure they don't get too big. Let's see what's going on. Those look a lot bigger than our last batch. So again, we're gonna get our cornstarch. The cornstarch is our thickening agent, so you wanna make sure that you just add a little bit in at a time. You can always add more, but it's harder to take it away once it's in there. So I'm just gonna sprinkle some in. Once we have them all in, ooh, they're a little bit hotter this time. So you'll wanna watch out for your fingers. See, that's much mushier than it was the last time that we tried it. And as you can see, it's getting a lot stickier on my fingers. So we're probably gonna wanna add some more cornstarch. It is very warm after the full 30 seconds. So you'll wanna be very careful with your fingers so you don't accidentally burn yourself. As you can see, I'm kind of touching it and then holding back for a little bit. All right, so we've added in some more cornstarch to get it to be a little bit thicker, a little bit less sticky. Ooh, that's looking a lot more slime-like than our last batch. And it's a weird color because we had the two different flavors. And you can see their eyes floating around. There's one of their eyes. So that is our very, very, very basic Peeps slime. So the science behind our Peeps slime is that when it went into the microwave, as we learned before with our microwave Peeps, it heated up all the molecules, which moves them apart and makes them go like this, easier to stretch out. Oh, that looks weird. So then when you add in the cornstarch, that's our thickening agent, as I said, which makes it thicker and then a tiny bit less sticky. As you can see, mine's still pretty sticky, but I didn't add in anywhere near the amount of cornstarch that the recipe called for. As I said before, you want to make sure that you add it in a little bit at a time because it's much easier to add in more than it is to take away. The downside to this slime is that once you stop playing with it and it starts to cool off, it'll start to get harder because the molecules will stop moving around. So it will go back to being kind of hard. It doesn't last overnight, but the benefit is that there aren't any weird chemicals in it like there are in a lot of other slimes. So if this accidentally gets in your mouth, it's not as big a deal. What do you think about the Peeps slime?
It's very sticky. It's very fun though.
What do you think we could do to make it less sticky?
More cornstarch.
More cornstarch.
Yeah.
But you're having a good time?
I am having a good time. I think if you add a little more cornstarch, it'll give you the consistency of like clay or silly putty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think was the difference between the fresh Peeps and the stale Peeps?
I think the dehydration of the stale Peeps. There was less water, so there wasn't a lot of breaking down and separating.
That's why it was harder?
I think so, yeah. I think that's... it's getting really hard now. Like, it's getting harder to move and pull apart the more you play with it. But I think the lack of water is what really makes a big difference in those two things.
It was just funny because we didn't think there would be any difference.
No, there was a big difference.
Yeah, just shows that you have to keep trying different things. All right, well, I'm going to let you play with that.
Thanks.
I hope you enjoyed doing experiments with us today with Peeps. And remember to make sure that you have an adult or an older sibling helping you because we did use the microwave. It did get kind of hot, so you want to make sure that you have somebody with you who can help you with those things. I hope you're inspired to try and do some other experiments with things that you have around your house. Make sure you ask permission first, and I hope you guys have a nice day.